coming in off their bye and their first win of the SEC schedule 2 weeks ago, the South Carolina Gamecocks come here to Kyle Field for the first time ever to take on the Texas A&M Aggies. And with this first inaugural trip to Texas A&M, Coach Sean Elliott makes his second career SEC start as head coach of the Gamecocks, and he looks to propel the Gamecocks for a big victory in hopes of a bowl game this December. Here come the Gamecocks as they make their first trip to Aggie Land to take on Texas A&M. Carolina is looking to avenge last year's home opening loss to the Aggies as they send out true freshman quarterback Kyler Murray. Murray, the freshman out of Texas, taking over for former starting quarterback and looking to showcase his dual threat ability right here as he throws a dart to Josh Reynolds' 13-yard strike, and Reynolds will bounce off a few South Carolina tackles before going down. Here on the next play, Kyler Murray, 14-yard rush down to the South Carolina 29-yard line. So the dual threat ability hurting South Carolina early, but the Gamecock defense would tighten and force a field goal that would go wide right. So South Carolina holds strong in the first drive, but after a 3-and-out, here come the Aggies once again, and South Carolina couldn't hold them this time. First, Ricky Seals-Jones with a catch and run, 25 yards, making South Carolina defenders continue to miss, which will be a theme throughout most of this game for South Carolina, as they would have difficulty tackling Aggie offensive players, both receivers and running backs, throughout most of this game. And Kyler Murray would finish off the drive with this beautiful 6-yard touch pass to the back of the end zone all the way over to Josh Reynolds. 7-0 Aggies here early in the first. Now Perry Orth and the Gamecocks would finally get the Gamecock offense rolling with David Williams, who would jumpstart with this screen pass for 19 yards down the A&M 32 and continue the hot hand hitting the hole up the middle for another Carolina first down. The Gamecocks would finish off this drive with some trickery on Halloween, and it would be a treat as Perry Orth would hand off to Brandon Wilds, who would reverse to Lorenzo Nunez from 7 yards out to punch it in and knot the game up at 7. Carolina would force an Aggie punt, and the offense would go back to work as Orth this time with his legs would hurt A&M, running near side down the sidelines, and he's off to the races all the way down inside the 20-yard line, straight into your living room. The 66-yard run will be the longest for the Gamecocks this season. Orth would finish off the drive on the ground from 6 yards out to give Carolina the 14-7 lead in the second quarter. A&M would answer right back inside Gamecock territory with another 25-yard reception for Seals-Jones over the middle, and he'd swing it near side down to the Carolina 13, and on 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line, the Aggies would cap off the drive with a Trey Carson dive right up the middle, retying the game back up. Carolina would hook up for yet another big play, this time Orth hitting Hayden Hurst in stride as the tight end would rumble in space down out of bounds near the A&M 14-yard line, and the Gamecocks would punch it in out of the I formation from 3 yards out as Brandon Wilds goes in untouched, retaking the lead for Carolina. James White would continue the offense and prance into the end zone far side off the option pitch, rounding out A&M's half with 383 total yards of offense, tied at 21. The Aggies continue their offensive deluge in the second half, capping off an 81-yard, 11-play drive with a Murray 1-yard rush, retaking the lead 28-21. On the ensuing Gamecock drive, Orth would throw far side and be picked by Donovan Wilson, who'd find green grass, bringing it all the way back to the house, 60 yards, extending the Aggie lead to 14. South Carolina would find the end zone late in the third quarter once again with some fancy footwork from Brandon Wilds, 33-yard score from the senior, who finished with 2 touchdowns and 128 yards on the ground. In the fourth quarter, the Gamecock defense would tighten as Darius English would drop Murray for a sack, giving the Gamecocks some life late in the game. Looking to tie the game with a minute left, Orth's pass on 4th down will be tipped and picked off once again by Wilson, ending the game as the Gamecocks fall to the Aggies 35-28. So the Gamecocks dropped their first visit to Kyle Field 35-28 against the Aggies, and Gamecocks on defense gave up 544 yards of total offense, and Texas A&M for the first time since 2012 in the Cotton Bowl rush for over 300 yards. So the Gamecocks look to regroup, play another game out on the road in the SEC at Neyland Stadium next week, and we'll be there in Knoxville. So here live from Kyle Field, I'm Brian Principe for Capital City Sports.
And that sounds cliche, but it's really cool to see the 12th man come out to Kyle Field and really see the Aggie family come together at midnight on a Friday night, which is not typical.